poor performance in the groups, which I suppose it looks like we've got a little bit of time here with a tech pause coming in, so we can take a revisit on that. Does mean that these two teams, end up here. Copenhagen Wolves over in Group B. They went 3-2, which, doesn't feel awful. It was, unfortunately, a slow start for them, losing out to Pyrovision and Monty. I think certainly would have been a challenge to get into that, but as I was going into podcast mode now, of course, the players interrupt me. Shortest technical pause we've potentially ever seen, and we are, of course, into the game now on Nuke. Oh, Julie's not really landing to start things off. The Glocks are going to take the heads easily here. 5 versus 3. Just like that. There is a bit of damage that comes through that smoke to stop, or at least attempt to stop the bomb going down, but it's not going to come off, and it's just looking way too good for Rush B here. Living sort of up to their namesake with a Rush A, but at the very least, they prove that they are good at playing fast. Looking like this one's in the bag. Oh, and there you go. Chiquinho with the only kill coming through for that round on the CT side. But yeah, Glock's taking over the site there and just making it look easy.
Yeah, exactly. Executor does well. It has to be said the Julies have got to do way better there, right? You're up close, you're wanting to fight, and should get at least one, I want to say. I thought there would be a bit of a quicker fight right at the end there, because when you're sort of Executor finds his kill, Copenhagen Wolves, you just assume you just fight towards the end and see if you can trade there. Took a little bit of time in towards A main, so a bit of delayed on that sense, but either way. Rush B, nice start. As you mentioned, the rush towards A, but still, as the namesake says, all the rest. So, good start. Pretty happy with that, I think, all in all. I think Rush B showing their prowess, and there has been some, at least for me, some interesting developments when it comes towards the T-side of Nuke. Obviously, this is the map that has always traditionally been the most CT-sided map in the pool, and the most kind of bog standard in that sense of, if T-sides, I mean, we would always say, right, if you get 5 rounds in your T-side, you've done really well, and I think you've set yourself up quite well. It feels like, for me, it's starting to change now, where we're seeing teams really get a good understanding of how to play T-side, a lot of outside control, using that to give yourself a lot of options. You can wrap towards main, wrap towards hell, even go down towards ramp in a bit of a split in that sense. So that 5 rounds maybe feels like it's not right anymore. There's a pretty quick flank here, but the timing has eluded Tapeware incredibly. But look at this. This is going to be a weird one. He should get the kill. They will. Fighting together is right, but Executor's here and doing as the name says. Kiro also 2 of his own as well. Nice and simple.
Oh. Knife
money.
Out. Wait a minute.
Oh.
He's close. He might be able to get another one here.
Oh, yeah, good effort.
The movement down and then, of course, the aim punch in the end. But yeah, that was. I mean, you'll take a knife, right, going into your gun round.
Yeah.
I think you'd be pretty
money in the bank,
that.
Baby.
Might be
yeah, happy with that.
Spread some cash here, get the AWP out. Seems like, yes, that is going to be the case. All right. It was a little bit. It's hard to tell. Nobody drops guns anymore, right? Like, you can instantly give it across. Sometimes we're like, oh, he's not got an AWP. Maybe he's going to pick it up. But Chiquinho just instantly appeared with the AWP. So I was like, has he bought that himself? But it takes a bit of mathematics to figure it out. So the knife actually does come into play pretty massively here. Well, it's good for the cash, yeah. Getting Chiquinho in towards the AWP nice and early. Exactly what you want to see. Hopefully we can see some numbers out from Chiquinho as well. He's been a player who's had real ups and real downs, right? And I think, when he plays his game and gets comfortable, he's actually really fun to watch. At the times he can go into a bit of a rot form and he struggles to put up the numbers, and it makes life pretty difficult for his side. So, looks like he's going to be tested here as well. They're wrapping all the way down. I wonder if anyone goes towards Garage as a late lurk. But it seems like they've avoided the AWP for now, and Mathios, understanding that they could be down here, is going to fall away. This is the smart call. Slow creep in. The Molotov gives away that there's something going on. Mathios with the spot. Opens the door. Fakes them out. They're a bit too smart for that, though. He does still manage to steal one away, but losing his life, maybe not the best. The door's been left open. Shane is somewhat unaware of that, unfortunately. figured that surely they've not crossed single yet, but of course it was all the earlier play that seems to have cost them. Bit of miscom there. Definitely was on the side of the screen. Maybe a 4x3 situation as well. But with that, Rush B will take the round as the rest of the CT save.
Well. It's a good start, isn't it, though, for Rush B. Now in the pistol round, the eco, and the full gun round, all looking really good for Rush B. And if I'm being completely frank as well, they're not actually really breaking too much of a sweat. So, super solid stuff. That's unfortunate. Executor turns his back just when Arnie was coming around the corner, but doesn't really make a difference. Orpa we save. 2 M4s behind it as well. That's pretty solid for the most part. On the T side, they don't really care. Yes, money isn't exactly flourishing, but you're 3 rounds up. You've got a nice little buffer zone. You're actually sitting quite pretty at the moment. No complaints, really, with what is happening. So Rush B, looking good, playing good, very solid Counter-Strike out the gate. And I think still it's that question mark about where we're at for Copenhagen Wolves, right? In the sense we need to see the side step up and showcase the level. You know, yes, this map is expected to go the way of Rush B, but if you can at least put a bit of a fight up here, it can build up the confidence. It can give you something to work with heading in towards that second map, Euro map pick of Mirage, and we are going to need to see the individuals come alive. You know, that's a map in which Rush B aren't going to be too opposed to playing.
Yeah, this is true. It is looking very, very good for Rush B, though, I think. Still early enough, but, you know, we've been around the block a few times. These are some very clean rounds, and Copenhagen Wolves know that. They also maybe feel that they are slightly off kilter, so a pretty early timeout indeed, and I think that we need to see this net some results, otherwise Rush B's T side, as you say, it's a slightly lower bar than maybe it used to be with the way that CS2 seems to have shifted towards T-sidedness just across the board, but, you know, you want to be getting rounds, you want to be keeping it competitive, and Rush B, they're in a position to really make sure that this is not the case.
Up close, behind the smoke. It's a bit of a risky move, but I don't hate it. I feel like when you're Copenhagen Wolves, take some risks, right? You may as well. I know it's very early, but you are right. You know, we've been around the block. We know how a lot of these games work and play out, and with how decent Rush B are looking so far, when you see this level of form, it is quite concerning. So I don't mind the call of taking risk and taking fights. Take where Jaquinho, Mathios as well, also going to get an opening kill. All really settling the nerves, which is exactly what you want to see. Tapping away, can't get the kill, but damage dealt.
Nice find from Tapeware as well. That really will net things in and make sure that there's absolutely no path back in and no other option for Kiro but to save. So here we are, the Copenhagen Wolves. They have awoken, it would seem, and a really, really nice round to do it in as well. So that's exactly what you want from the timeout. Now the ball back in the Rush B court. Curious to see what they're able to come up with so far. So fast, I think, is really the phrase for me from Rush B. So perhaps a change up in the pacing would be the easiest way to make a difference.
Yeah, got a bit of time here on the save. Right at the tail end. But good work from Copenhagen Wolves. They needed a real round nice and early just to give yourself, again, like you said, a bit of confidence. Kickstart the CT side. Second crack at the full gun round and make it stick. If only the one casualty, you're pretty happy with that. Rush B will save just the one AK. They'll buy around it, of course, but it's to what level do they buy around it? Do they leave him alone there with maybe half buy, or do they try and fully invest themselves, get down to around that lower money? It seems like they're going to half buy here. So Kira saved. Couple of pistols around it, so actually going to be a lot of pressure on him to do a lot of heavy lifting in this round. I think once again just showing how feeble the economy can be in CS2, right? You know, you take a 3-0 start, you're looking pretty good out the gate, you have one bad round and you're instantly in an eco. Counter-Strike through and through. Executor not going to buy at all. AWP shot misses and he doesn't.
Uh-oh. He's got his hands onto something very dangerous indeed. A big green AWP. An AK as well. Has now been retrieved as a Zeus kill came in. Excuse me? I didn't quite catch that in the kill feed initially. I saw the AK pop up. That's kind of what I was looking at. But Tapeware's gone down to a Zeus, which is embarrassing to say the least. But also maybe a needless move. It looked like that was towards the lobby area. Not really sure that he should be going for a move like that when you're already a man down. Shane on the edge of the smoke, desperate to make a play happen. But Kiro was watching him. And Rush B, from out of nowhere, have stolen this round. I mean, yeah, I just don't see a way back in for the Wolves.
I mean, maybe you just save here, right? Or, you, as we're kind of seeing them do, you're shelling up towards the A site. I'm sort of hoping they come to you, but this is the worst, not only the worst way to lose a round, but probably kind of the worst rounds to lose as a whole, because you've just finally found success, and you've just got on the board, and you've did everything right. You put the pressure on, and you're thinking, okay, great, we're in a good... Oh, that timing's brutal. But, you know, you've just finally got to a point of feeling, okay, we've got sort of something here, and then this happens. Brutal. And it will be made worse as well. Techie gonna find Matios. And it leaves it all down to Belani. And he'll just keep on the AK here. No two ways about it. A brutal round to lose over Copenhagen Wolves. You've finally reset the econ. You've put pressure back onto them. And they've just put off a flawless round with one AK. It includes a Zeus. They pick up an orb. Everything slots into place. That's seriously got to hurt.
Yeah, pretty rough. Pretty rough indeed. But I think, again, they have to look a little bit internally. Just some early signs of some lack of discipline. You know, Kinyo goes for the play. Look, I mean, if we really want to take it down, you should potentially know that the econ's not in a good place. So, is it really a round where you want to be making that kind of an aggressive AWP move? Maybe not. You see how it spirals. But the big one for me is definitely Tapeware still going for whatever his aggressive call was when they're already a man down. I think that's where you need to, you know, whatever it is, freeze, cancel, protocols, all these kinds of terms, but you maybe just need to have that instinct as a player to go, right, it's probably more important for me to not die here. Even going 1 for 1 there is not going to be necessarily beneficial. So that was the big turning point in that round for sure. But yeah, Rush B handed a gift.
Very true. Matios starting well towards execution. Look at this tape where it's under pressure. And yeah, I actually don't think he expected the pace because he was alone. He was waiting for the rotation back over from Matios, who gets one before he falls. But still, Arnie's been not checked properly, but Kinky was holding for it. Shane last man waiting on the edge of that molly. I can't see a way in which he wins this. This should be now impossible. Even now, the gun barrel is in the way of Texie down below. And a 5-1 scoreline. This is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's looking rough. It's looking very, very rough indeed. I think Copenhagen Wolves, you know, it's obviously a really difficult round to lose, and that may well just set the tone for the rest of this half at the very least. You know, the fresh slate coming in is going to take a while. You do have to give credit where it's due. It's an awful lot of work mentally to bounce back from losing an eco like that. But yeah, this is going to put them in pretty bad stead. They are once again screwed for money. Nice little 2 for 1 though outside as they match fire with fire. This is the kind of round that indeed you do need to have that kind of bravery.
Texie again. You know, we highlighted this guy and we know he's got a real good ability about him. And even with low HP, he's still quite scary in his own regards. This round's still very winnable both ways, right? It's a lower buy for Copenhagen Flames, but there's a flank here. Executor's holding for it. He got caught off. He's been caught off twice, actually, so far this game in timing, and it might happen again. No way. If he gets caught again with his back turn, this will be a 3rd time. That is brutal. Oh, no. That's even worse. That's even worse. Shane goes down. He's 0-6 as well. Poor guy. That's a brutal one to lose.
Yeah, having a struggle fest right now for sure. Certainly something to keep an eye on, and hopefully, you know, just for the sake of all that is good he finds himself a kill or two in the next round. Jaquinho left alone here. Does have that M4, but of course no armor. Easy pickings in the end. Little dicey, little close. You know, one unchecked angle. But Rush B, as we see, it's this like classic CIS style, right? That so many of these tier 2 teams have had for years, bro. I am talking 5 or 6 years easily with your Prostos and your Hellraisers and, you know, Simons and, you know, teams like this, where they just kind of ball together, play the fundamentals, whatever we're looking at, whatever kind of fight we're going for, like, we're all doing it, you know. So there's very little independent thought that comes into some of these plays, and it can be hard to play against. When it is working, it can be relentless, as we are seeing here. Another timeout for the Wolves, though, to try and get back into things.
I think it's actually the right call. It's for Copenhagen Wolves, there is very, very little on offer in the early part of this map, and it's not a good sign with what we're seeing. They're looking very, very rough, pretty ugly in terms of the approach right now, and I don't blame them for calling a pause. It's pretty evident to themselves that they need to fix this quite desperately. Let's hope they do, though, right? It's a tough predicament that they're in. Bit of spam. Oh, nice work from Shane. Good way to get your first kill.
Yep. There we go. I did say I wanted to see 1 or 2 in the next round, and he has delivered. So there is that at the very least to be happy about. But whether they convert this round or not is more the thing that I am focusing on here. Jaquinho on the slim angle. They are indeed not going to give him the fights. Opt instead to creep downstairs where Big Shane is waiting. This would be a great time for him to really, really have some impact. Find that big round that I'm sure he's been longing for. The entire half long with a Molotov is really quite good. Delaney here in towards single. Fake out of the plant, but he can't find anyone really, so just kind of has to give up that position. So in the 5 versus 4, looking a little nervous here on the Copenhagen Wolves side of things. Bomb will go down, but the patience is paying off. Damage done. Another player taken. Hero trying to be the hero doesn't really work for him. It's just Texi all by his lonesome here, and I think they've got a good idea that he's on these stairs as well. He's definitely been spotted now. Clean on the first. It's going to be hard to get towards that bomb, though, and they will eventually find him. So patience, yes, it looked nervy in places, but Copenhagen Wolves, they make it work.
Yeah, good work, right? You know, it's a positive sign, I think, as well for Copenhagen Wolves. You call a timeout, and you're able to come straight back in, find a bit of success. The question is, though, with sort of where we're at, we actually still need to see consistency at the tail end. I mean, even if it's getting towards just the likes of like 4 rounds on the CT side, just give us something. Give us a chance of sort of getting into this and a bit of a look in. But you know, one-sided game seems to be the play here in the ESL Challenger League. Over in the other game as well, Aurora are 6-1 up against Spirit Academy over there. So pretty similar vibes, really. How these games have started. One-way traffic so far. Copenhagen Wolves already Rush B hitting 6 on the T side. That's pretty good. You're pretty happy with that. Any more starts to get to the point of being very, very concerning for Copenhagen Wolves.
This is true. The quick A play coming in. It's Texi that finds that first. We're still on with Zinni to see what he can find, but nothing really coming his way. The team itself looks good. However, A bomb site going to be taken. Numbers in their favor. The CT's fully split here, so coordinating a retake is going to be very tough indeed. One of them's an AWPer. These are all negative things that we generally apply to a CT retake. That being said, still kind of sticking around, still maybe fancying their chances, trying to flush some players out and find the kills, and they will exactly do just that. Jaquinho's Molotov is absolutely masterful, forces them all forwards, forces them into the fights. The flashes were clean as well to just make life even harder for Rush B. And that's a 4v3 top site retake with an AWP on Nuke. I mean, that is really not easy to do.
Yeah, A, not easy. B, such a rarity as well, right? We very rarely see teams actually even give that a go. So real credit to Copenhagen Wolves. They actually executed so effectively. They do very well at isolating fights. I think it also kind of seemed to me that Rush B were a little bit caught off guard by it. Just not expecting that to be the case. But you'll take what you can get. Now pressure being put on towards Rush B a little bit. Money's not exactly feeble just yet, but at least it's Copenhagen Wolves kind of getting back-to-back rounds and starting to showcase that they've got a level ability around them. Swinging towards Executor is a little rough there. Tape, we're going to get caught back to a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, a couple of aggressive plays and peaks from this tapeware fella I've maybe not been the biggest fan of. So, again, the momentum you feel is maybe in your favor already. Don't necessarily have to be the hero, but potentially the way he likes playing the game. 4-on-4 still works. Rush B, they like it though, you know. Trim the numbers, trim the defense super early on. Gives them this element of control where they can walk around, catch you off guard, play that pack mentality, and odds are only run into 1 or 2 players nearly for Executor, man. If it was just ever so slightly closer, I don't think he would have been spotted there. But the smoke wasn't quite good enough. Good break here from Jaquinho. Good damage as well. Can't land the shot, but softening them up. Texi goes up high. That's fairly predictable with where they've just been spotted. 35 seconds left to get this bomb down. So not looking great, but they might just be able to sneak the plant at the very least.
Oh, there's another one on there.
Oh, God!
This is carnage.
Oh, my,
the molly got down.
The styliest molly you've ever seen as well. The fadeaway falling Molotov. That is crazy, and I don't know if it's going to calm down here. Oh my God, they're doing it. They are doing it. I don't believe it.
Texi's so goated, man. He's so crisp. What a round from him. 4 kills to his name. How in God's name he gets away with it, I have absolutely no idea.
Pure panic.
Pure, actually ridiculous.
Pure panic. Because, I mean, the thing is there, you know, you'd maybe react with, like, getting the gun out, but he's like, throw the molly, but get out of there. Like, there's just so many, his mind is not working towards the end goal, you know what I mean? He's just so flustered by that.
Carnage. Absolute carnage. But, either way, Rush B will take any around, right, for them, and that'll guarantee them a lead at the turn of the half, which already pretty happy about. I don't know whether Hero spotted the plane. Now does, as he swings out from back red. Mathios goes down. Just a little wary of a garage player, hence why he doesn't want to peek too far forward from top of main. Let the rest of the pack start to maneuver through outside, and then he can make his move as a late drop. Like this, and he will punish Balani, so good work.
Rush B have hit the groove. They've been winning the key turning points, and it seems to have a pretty good effect on their game for sure. Jaquinho outside here. I do like this angle. He could do some serious damage. There's one. Might just have spotted the edge of that other as well. Gonna try and get him swung, 2 or 3 times. Really well played there to take him down. And I think with a kill like that, you should start to wrap this round up.
Yeah, you're probably right. Especially when the UMP's in play, if we're being completely frank. Bit of a dog gun, let's be honest. It's pretty bad. Back in the day, I can give you credit for it. These days, rare that you see it really put up numbers. But 2v4 left in a penultimate round. No one down towards his lower sight. But Rush B are, they're taking their sweet time. Let's be completely frank. It's 20 seconds left, lads. Let's get a move on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of urgency about them. 10 seconds. Going to be a bit close. I mean, they've got this player to deal with in Mini as well. Ooh, just about. That's as close as it gets, really. Within a second and a half. Tapeware trying to catch. I mean, coming down to just one player there, it felt like a absolutely surefire round. Doesn't matter all that much, right? To be honest, the final round now, money's not really a factor, but certainly a shaky one from Rush B. Just gotta be careful of that it doesn't seep through the cracks into the second half.
Yeah, exactly. Already, though, up towards 8, you're pretty happy. You're not complaining about this at all. Copenhagen Wolves, unfortunately for them, it's just not been... It's not been the map so far, and... You know, sure, they might have some ideas on their T side, but it really feels like it's going to require something quite special. Buy is a little funky, too. And it doesn't help with Tapeware getting caught early, either.
Full pause from Rush B. Copenhagen Wolves, familiar with this. Flash goes in. Not quite effective. And just on that shoulder peak spot. Not taking any more risks into the round. Oh my god. Timing does not get better than that for Shane. That is kind of insane. I think even as his, like, shoulder was around the wall is when the turn came in from Kiro. But still looking good here. Rush B just holding the line. Playing the range. Playing the stronger weapons. Auto shotgun couldn't quite get going. It is once again down to the wire here a little, but it just feels like Rush B are a couple steps ahead in most of these rounds.
Yeah, it seems to be the case, isn't it? Still not impossible for Bellani here, but 1v2 and he has no information about what this post-spawn's going to look like either. It's going to be very, very difficult. Has one Molotov, but does have a kit. Maybe a chance. Let's see, creep around that corner, gonna clear in towards radio. Nothing on offer just yet. That bomb halfway ticked too, and the window's not broken, so you're gonna break both. Molly down, and reposition towards double. That'll force out one at the very least. Now they know where he is. He can't transfer. 9-3 half from Rush B. They are flying, and we'll see if they can continue it, of course, after the break.
Yeah, got my senses here on overload. All my body is for you to hold. Ooh, 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 feel like something new. Yeah, and I never thought that you got me wanted. Never thought
Hello, hello, welcome back. A pretty one-sided half, to say the absolute least. Rush B, I mean, simply put, Script, they actually just look fantastic. Very few issues, very few errors that are causing kind of major problems. I think the real big problem that we've seen is that Copenhagen Wolves just don't actually look alive, right? They don't really look like they're awakened in the server. There was very, very little offer. There was a couple of rounds in a row that you can maybe look at and say, okay, it was something here, but very little to be convinced with.
It is true. They are straight into the action here, so I don't really have much of a retort for you as Texi finds the opener and just hightails it out of there, trying to now keep control of ramp as best he can, but he's got a few cronies to join him as well. They are very prepared for the B hit, it would seem. Tapeware takes one. It costs him a fair chunk of HP, gets caught in transition. And it's just the bomb carrier, and down he will go. Kinky nice and clean there to finish things off. But yeah, I kind of agree. Just even by the way that pistol goes down, it sort of sums things up. There's some nice ideas, a few nice shots, but Copenhagen Wolves really could not get their teeth in very well. There was the one super clean retake, but beyond that, I don't think we saw anything that really impresses too much. But some difficult rounds in there as well. They lost a couple clutch situations. They lost out on a very, very heavy eco as well, which came early. We said it might set the tone. It did, you know, so there's still a few issues in this squad, of course. Only a few months that there's been, you know, even the transition for Jaquinho, right, coming in as both the AWPA and IGL as far as we're aware. So, you know, I think that is a lot of responsibility, and he's not been in very long. And then they're kind of, yeah, playing with a new player, playing with a stand-in. Is he here to stay? Seems like this fifth spot is rotating at the moment, right? So there's no sort of guarantees. And you're going to struggle against Rush B, who are the exact opposite of that. Team that's been together forever, it feels like. Yeah, they're really going to pick you apart if you let them.
Yeah, exactly that. Rush B look fantastic. I think as well, also probably for us, we're worried a little bit more long-term as well, because we're looking in towards Mirage, and if you're breaking it down just in terms of the raw head-to-heads and the individuals, they've been fantastic over towards Rush B. People stepping up, multi-kills galore. Texi, the guy we highlighted for damn good reason, it has to be said, is absolutely flying right now, 15 and 8, and Mirage is such a puggy map, and it is down to the individuals and down to these guys who can hit their shots, and we're not seeing that from Copenhagen Wolves. They've got to have something quite special up their sleeve. We'll have to see. Jaquinho, speaking of, we'll find Texi. That's an important kill, but Zinni answering back. Kinky is just dipping and diving between the two angles, but it's Zinni getting all of the kills here. Even all down to Balani. He's got top ramp control. That's great, but no bomb and surely no chance.
Yeah. I think this is where, you know, maybe usually would say the vibes are off. We quite like a bit of a UK sort of term that I think comes from football and whatnot. It's head loss, you know. And I think that's definitely what we're seeing here from the Copenhagen Wolves, really. They are running in, very aggressive, trying to match the firepower, maybe feeling like this map is not their map. And let's just maybe try and focus on the next, you know. And I suppose, indeed, this wasn't their pick. They're setting their sights on Mirage, I suppose. It's not a great precedent to set, this kind of a scoreline, but it does feel like they are just throwing the kitchen sink at it. And if that works, great. But as we've seen, it isn't. So they are ready for the next map, it feels like, at this point. And I think it's going to come a little faster than maybe we all had banked on here this evening.
Yeah, exactly that. So, 12-2-3. Simple to say that right now everything is looking very comfortable, very easy in terms of the kind of approach. And again, you know, it gets to a point where unfortunately we do have to just sit here and say there's not a lot on offer. There's very little we can talk about when it comes towards Copenhagen Wolves. They have just not shown up to the plate. Jaquinho's a nice couple of moments. I'll give him his credit. A couple of shots here where he's looking pretty solid, but unfortunately the rest of the team dipping off quite rapidly as you head down the scoreboard. So not been great for them. And then you got the flip side, Texi, Zinni, 15 kills apiece, both looking fantastic. Executor as well. I think for him, especially on that T side, he was actually doing really well in terms of gaining and gathering a lot of space for the side to work with. And They're a tough team to play against. Missed flash for that second. Executor here has support. Ziddy's up close.
Oh my. Oh. It's a little weird over there. I think he's gone down, and he was expecting some action. It eventually comes. I wasn't sure if he was going to get it, so he's a little ahead of the curve on that. The ramp burst here is eventually good, but Taxi takes 2 kills with him, so it's still solid position as Rushby will hold on to control of this round. Shane's pretty low as well, so they don't go barreling on into B trying to get the bomb down. You know, they've pulled back, going to go for a different approach here, and a fair amount of space to work with. I will give them that, but my opinion is still that Rushby will be in a good enough spot to get this one done. We'll see. We will see. It all depends on where the bomb gets planted, whether the Heaven player pops out. What are they opting for? It looks like towards Mini. They feel safer there, so Executor not going to be able to stop the plant, but he's got a good position. He's got good info as well that they are towards that side of the site, right? There's no one at the back end of the site. That means he can get out a hell of a lot easier once his teammates draw some attention away. Quick trades come in here. Jaquinho's done well to get 2. Where is this final player? He now knows. Big loud drop coming in. Kit retrieved. Executor doesn't really know where to look. There's only one place he could be. Tries to go up, and Jaquinho has saved the game. Huge 1v3 situation for him to keep Copenhagen Wolves in this map.
Yeah, it's still obviously a long, long road to recovery, but it's better than nothing. It's at least something that we can sit here and say, finally, right, a round to take, one that can kind of pump you up a little bit, and even if it doesn't lead to anything in terms of the short term of Nuke, maybe long term it's saying, okay, you know, we've got still a couple of tricks up our sleeve and we can beat these guys at times. But 12-4. We shall see. Outside play here by Kinky. I love to see. He sticks around for the second, and that doesn't go as swimmingly. Traded out by Shane.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be back with a vengeance into this on the Rushby end of things, but Copenhagen Wolves as well, a little determined to get a few more and just have some tape to work with, I suppose, right? Like these rounds, these rifle rounds need to be played out. It has come to a standstill here as 1 minute 10 hits the clock. Shane just holding, chilling here behind the extractor vent, I guess it would be. Not one you can get in, but equally as important as the other vents that are on this map, I'm sure.
Oh. How? First of all, how's Balani got down there so quietly? And then, how has he got up behind him as well?
What is going on? There's a couple of really awkward fights here for Copenhagen Wolves in particular. No, alright.
what is happening?
Going on? Man, what was that nade? What was that nade? What a way for it to finish. Kind of wild, kind of wild. Copenhagen Wolves, you know, for a moment it looked like they were maybe back on the saddle, but they fall straight off the horse, sort of onto their face, quite embarrassingly so. But yeah, not the best showing. These academy teams are sort of getting wrapped up a little bit, and I think that Spirit Academy might be one of them, so they may well have that for sale sign out at the moment, and therefore doing well at this kind of level. You know, might mean that they get picked up by a few projects here or there. So good for them that they're able to bring it to such a big name in this space in the form of Aurora. Yeah, we'll be keeping our eyes on that, but eyes on our own game here, of course, as we finally do get into the action. Copenhagen Wolves starting off on this T side, looking for a quick contact ramp, and it's pretty solid. Once again, I think these teams are ready for each other. They looked very prepared for the 2 players that came their way, also on a contact move, and that's created the space that they need for the bomb plant. You can't be serious. Executor gets the headshot through triple to deny the first planter. Second time of asking, not going to be able to get it done, but he may well have just given them a ridiculous way in. What has happened? The kill feed lights up, and Rushby complete the 5 versus 3. What in God's name?
That round fell apart so quickly for Copenhagen Wolves. So quickly. I mean, even they looked shell-shocked with how quickly those kills come through. And once again, reinstilling just how good this Rush B team can be. And just the level that they can kind of play at as well. You cannot afford to give them an inch. They will take it a yard. And some, it seems right now. And this is the really brutal position that we're in, is that once again for Copenhagen Wolves, it is dire in terms of how quickly these rounds just fall apart. And, you know, very immediate attack timeout. Obviously, they want to fix this as soon as. But yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous. Kind of ridiculous. And I think that, you know, you do, after a moment like that, need to take a moment to yourself. And I think that we saw a super early timeout as well on Nuke. There may well be a few sort of communication, those kind of social issues within the team might be getting to them as well. So yeah, I'd be very, very curious to see if Copenhagen Wolves unfortunately have a flat evening here, but maybe the super early timeout here is also going to help them. I would imagine there's going to be some talk around what to do in this round as well. They've opted to go for the buy. What is this? That M4 looks absolutely horrendous. That is crazy view model stuff. But Hero, maybe it works. Maybe it works now. He gets 1, nearly 2 kills.
Yeah. Oh, a dink on towards Kinky. He was going to nade out before he does falls, and he is still here. He's a flashbang. He'll get it. Oh, no, he won't. It's smoke that goes in towards Palace. Then he's just fighting for the hills here. He spotted 2 more, so he knows there's people here. He'll drop a smoke himself and a lurk smoke to potentially give him the luxury of getting out. He's going to go for the elevated angle. I don't hate this. This is still a little precarious. Zinni's playing around it. Shane as well. He's waiting for this smoke to fade. Surely Zinni does not get away with it. A second. Oh, Shane just reacts in time. Mach 10 with the support of Tapeway. We'll get another.
Oh, Kiro going to go down. So
still winnable.
That is a big moment. Looks pretty good here, but the HP bars are what you've got to worry about, of course. Executor coming in quite quickly as well. Oh, clean headshot. Leaves Shane on 6 HP to do it all, so he's going to have to get the drop. I think he's just been spotted there as well, which is really the worst case scenario. Trying to be that sneaky player, trying to hide away. It's not going to work out, and Executor pulls off the 1 versus 2. So Copenhagen Flames, we are now starting to get into the realms of you got to feel for them, right? Really, really unfortunate that they lose out the pistol in the fashion they did. They lose out the force buy here in the fashion that they did. In the same vein, Rush B looking great.
Yeah. Again, super unfortunate for Copenhagen Wolves. But it is one of those things, again, like a bomb plant. It is just going to give you the option to buy. And that's always something that you're going to feel just at least a little happy about. Just say, okay, at least we have some sort of economy and something to work with in towards the next. We can force buy. It is fine. That's why this T-side economy can work in the early parts of these games. You know, you can quite continuously be reinvesting back in. It looks like this round's not live, judging by the typing and the fact that everyone's not left spawn. So it looks like we might have lost somebody. I'm just wondering who that could be, really. It looks like maybe Shane, judging by the fact that he's not moving. But we'll have to see. Either way, 2 to start for Rush B. Might have lost, potentially, Shane. But hopefully we can get him in as early as. Get him back in the server. Copenhagen Wolves, I feel like for them as well, they want to continue putting as much pressure on as they can. I'm hearing typing, so
yeah, it's going a little
round
weird.
Definitely not live. Weird.
But we'd usually have a sort of timeout situation by now.
True.
So there we go. Okie dokie. Just tiny bit of work to get it going, and now I've got to wait for the boys to rejoin. So yeah, it's very, very rough. I think that you would want, in this situation, to really quickly pick things back up. Especially, you know, you come so close, you got the money, etc. Seems like the server is not having a good time.
Yeah, a lot of people have dipped.
Yeah, we got Tapeware on 300 ping. So not really sure what's going down here, but it does look like the server is not enjoying itself.
Yeah, playing from somewhere in Southeast Asia right now with that level of ping. I even get like 80 ping when I play to America, so he's got to be very far away. But hopefully a simple fix, and by simple, just a new server, which generally speaking isn't too hard to come by. But yeah, tech pause for now as we wait, and we'll hopefully get things back underway. But even still, Rush B, yes, bomb plots be coming through, but you're pretty happy with where things are at the moment. Yeah, it looks like
Okay.
given confirmation as well, they are going to be changing servers. So you never know how long it will take, but we'll sit around for a little bit. If it does go on too long, of course, we can always throw it to a break if needed.
It is true. I think, I don't know, man, getting everyone in, it might take a few minutes. I'm not going to lie. It really all depends on the players, you know. Try and just channel all your energy, folks, into getting these players back. Depends on their situation. Depends on how quick they are, you know. I'm sure we all have a couple of friends who are a bit slow to get into a game or to rejoin the server. I will fully hold my hands up in my friend group. That is kind of me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a serial alt-tabber. I'm a serial just on my phone and not really listening to what anyone's saying. Late to the round. You know, it's a pretty bad kind of habit, not going to lie. But, you know, hopefully we've got no one like that in this particular game. They are professional salaried players, so you'd expect not.
I'm more of a, I don't really tab out, but I'll like go on my phone or something like that. That's like a pretty classic.
It's got to be done, mate. It's got to be done. You know, I think we're getting to a point now of, you know, real saturation for sure. Sending them around, of course.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like, of course, this is going to take a bit of a moment. So rather than us sitting here waffling, we are going to throw this one to a little bit of a break. Ladies and gents, sit tight. Hopefully we'll be live soon.
Oh my goodness. I believe we are back. This is indeed live. We are informed there's a little bug on the HUD. It can get sort of messed up when players are dropping in, rejoining, so on and so on. But there are 5 on the map. We'll probably spot them on the X-ray, but like on the mini-map, you're not going to see all 5. There he is. Oh, wait, no, he's on the mini-map. Where's the hidden guy on Copenhagen Wolves? That's what we're looking for. Under. No? Yeah. I think it's under. There's only one on the mini-map towards under. The man at connector is invisible. It's Balani who's the invisible man, I believe. Either way, we are back into the action here. And Copenhagen Wolves with the mid-control looking to take over the round. I think they're savvy that there's someone up in the window. Nice find from Zinni as he gets aggressive. But the A-bomb site does look very vulnerable indeed here. Just about able to get that bomb down. Kill's looking good now. 3 remain, of course, for Copenhagen Wolves. You can see that 1, 2, 3 on your screen. So bear with me, right? Bear with us as it carries on into the 2 versus 2 now. Looking decent for Rush B.
Whoa. Jame. Good find. Ducking his head as well. Zinni's already got 2 kills to his name. Looking for another. It's a tough defuse for him. Running out of time as well. No kit. So he's got to go. And I think he might just be angling for a save. He's given the luxury. He's not. Well played by Shane. 2 kills at the end for him. An AK upgrade too. You're going to take that every day of the week. Finally, the bomb plant into the 4 spies lead to a round for Copenhagen Wolves. And now it's about, can we get a bit of consistency?
That is indeed the question. I think we'll be here to just make sure that HUD gets sorted out so it doesn't become, a confusing factor moving forward. So, thank you for your patience on that. Bit of a shame when we do have these tech issues, but it does indeed happen, particularly in the online Counter-Strike. But yeah, I think we talked about it, didn't we, before we went across to that break. Rush B winning the first 2 rounds, but winning them in unexpected ways, let's say, and I think that Copenhagen Wolves therefore really wanted to get into things and keep that momentum going, keep hot on the heels and all that, but the pause that comes in between is going to make that quite difficult. So feels like a weird place to pick back up for them, but still doing relatively well.
Gotta say as well, straight off the back of a tech pause, they come flying into kind of the fight, and they're really trying to take a lot of control. And that, I think, is always sort of the right way to approach it. I always feel, really try and put the pressure on as soon as. So, great work. Seems like the HUD's being fixed as well as we speak, and then we'll be heading back on the way in just a second. But a good first round for Copenhagen Wolves. You're going to take that every day of the week. So there we are. Money, of course, is in a lesser spot over towards Rush B. So for them, slightly more minimal investments is what they've got to work with, but you never know. They've had some weird and wonderful rounds converted with that AK on its own round in towards Nuke that was then converted, so maybe still a bit of magic up the sleeves potentially for Rush B. I'm not going to completely count them out just yet.
Oh?
No.
All right. An interesting sort of move from Blarney there. He span around, but he'd not peeked that corner. Nearly loses his head with his back turned, but, it's all good. It doesn't really make a difference in the end. Just kind of a funny bit of movement from him. Executor up close here on the 5-7. We know how this can go, but the smoke, it is very disciplined indeed, very well thought out, and it will make all the difference. They're really lacking the information now, of course, on the Rush B side of things, but the Deagle makes itself known, holding another at bay. Executor comes in from behind. Bit ridiculous from Kiro through the smoke. Shane's on a flank, but the bomb is spilled. And, of course, the numbers looking good here. An AK retrieved as well. It's going from bad to worse. Balani finds his kill, but he's left incredibly low. Shane is the brute force element to try and get back into this round, but it's not looking great now. Flank coming in as well.
True. Could be a little weird. 5-7. Oh, no way. What? How? That's not even like 4x3.
Just straight up blindness.
How has he not seen him? I cannot believe that. Should have seen that all day. That's such a brutal way to maybe even this round to be kind of changed. In that sense, 1 versus 2 now. One of which being low, though. Not impossible for Kiro. If he can clear one of these, set himself up, but plenty of time on the peak. And that'll be a second. And now a good chance to start picking up a bit of a lead, right, for Copenhagen Wolves. Economy broken on the other side. They've got a bit of runway now, but I cannot believe he doesn't spot him out there. That's going to be one of those super tilting things that you just look back at and say, you know, in a demo or whatever, and just like, that's, you know, my bad. Like, what can you even say, really? That it's just kind of brutal. It happens. Hopefully it doesn't have any sort of, I guess, knock-on effect, right?
Yeah, still, though. Those are the sort of textbook rounds, aren't they, that Rush B are able to pluck out and start to take control. They're a very momentum-based team. What in the hell is going on in that corner of Connector, man? Trying to get on each other's heads, but it's not really working. They'll take any kind of kills here, of course. Just the one comes in. Easy mow down as the Copenhagen Wolves, for the first time in the series, I do believe, take the lead.
Good to see from them as well. Maybe now a bit of a chance to showcase what they've got about them, right? You know, you want to see this side at least prove to us why they're in where they're at and the kind of the spot that they've had. And, you know, they've obviously had decent runs, I think, throughout this sort of scene in a way, right? I think in the tier 2 they've been playing so much Counter-Strike recently. So we want to see what they're all about, what their levels are, how well they can actually play and kind of prove to us that, you know, they do deserve to be making a run in towards playoffs. And now it's maybe on Mirage the time to showcase that, push it towards a third. And a third in which you maybe even argue that they are the slight favourites for, having played it way more times than Rush B.
Yeah, I would say so. We're kind of, it depends on which way you want to look at it, right? More generally or more series based. And of course, Rush B just came in so strong on that first map. Wild trades going on here. Copenhagen Wolves not really wasting any time at all, but it's Executor in from short that I think has had the impact. He gets 2, he gets away. His silhouette looks ridiculous, man. What is going on there? I think because the ladder is like so short and he's moved up it backwards. His feet are just stuck or something. That's so wild to look at, but he's done a lot of damage for the round. That's the point I was making.
Let's see. But Chiquinho, 1 versus 3. The good news is that he's going to have space at the very least towards B, but there is a flank coming, and he will have to get down, get the bomb down, and then get into a position to isolate fight. It's not the easiest. I'm wondering for him as well, in his mind, does he actually even want to give this a go? It's looking like as he's starting to retract and backpedal a little bit that he might not, and he might just be going for the save instead. He doesn't know that it actually was a decent window there for him to be able to go on towards the site, but I think if we're thinking just without that information, playing save the AWP is the right call, I'd say. In a 1v3 especially.
Yeah. It also feels like the kind of Chiquinho way. He's a very sort of calculated player.
Yeah.
So, you know, keep the long game, keep the AWP. And as you mentioned, it evens out the econ quite quickly, in fact. So it's not like we're in that weird scenario where the rest of the team's got loads of money and he's suddenly got none or whatever it may be. So it does make a bit of sense, but it's certainly a tough one. Felt like our most stable round that we've had in the game, and Rush B were able to find a decent bit of individuality there, which they've maybe been missing in the early stages of this game.
Okay, so let's start to open things up. I was going to get caught in the early portion. And at the very least, I mean, Copenhagen Wolves are still going to try and reclaim a bit of mid-control. It's been quite a large portion of their T-side plan so far. As Rush B, as they buy back in, if they're able to make this round stick, and if they can do it quite cleanly too, they put so much pressure. I mean, this is a huge swing round. Win this, and you actually get a bit of a 2-for-1 special. Very important to getting a leg up in this.
Hero hidden towards window. It was this short position that was so effective in the previous round, so rightfully so, they give it a bit more attention. Jaquinho takes a quick swing, gets a quick frag. Nade is good, but the kills are really solid here for the Wolves. A broken spray down from both sides of the equation, to be fair, but the more important player comes out on top. The round, therefore, secure. Copenhagen Wolves immediately back on the board, so certainly a lot more energy to them here on Mirage.
Taxi. In this 1 vs 3, of course, not going to give it a look in, but I think you're right. Copenhagen Wolves looking a hell of a lot better, a lot more on offer. A side that feel like they've got ideas there. Maybe it's just one of those kind of unfortunate but classic things where we look at a map like Nuke, and if you're a side that A, doesn't have a good game plan, you're always under quite a lot of pressure, but also on the other side too, where... Oh my god, hello. The Sue hit for free, right? Surely. Yeah, he will get both. And there's no one to trade around at the end. So make it expensive, Texie. You'll take that. But come back to what I was saying. I think if you're a team that, A, doesn't have a great game plan or it's not a super strong part of your map pool, Nuke is a difficult map. But they're also playing with a new player, whether that's a stand-in or a full-time replacement of Matios coming in for Andu. We don't really know just yet, but yeah, I mean, it is one of those where this is a little bit more like it. A litmus test map and a lot more on offer.
Yeah, just a case of whether it keeps going and whether Rush B are able to turn things around. Shane just about survives. However, they will chase him down. Really well found from Texie. Oh, and the Zeus again. It was Executor over on Nuke. Wait a minute. The flashbacks are coming in. That was like a solid anti-eco round as well. There is an AK in play in this one, to be fair. Has just been taken down, but things looking messy again. The Copenhagen Wolves could be 2 for 2 in the series on full ecos here. And it might just be the case. The bomb is no closer to a bomb site. The numbers are not looking good. Rush B have got this one in the palm of their hands.
Creeping forward now. 3 together. So Short Baloney gets 1. A lot more that's got to be done. They now know that both of them are in a round here, but a 1 vs 2 very quickly flipping. And sure, it's a quick flank from Kira, but he is going loud as well. Not even going quiet about it. How have Rush B let that round slip away from them?
Damn. Yeah, I think they will be the ones kicking themselves there, because it certainly did feel that this would not be a surefire situation, but a really good situation. And it feels like it has moved away very, very quickly indeed. It's messy. It is a very messy round. And again, it just kind of goes to show that we maybe do have Copenhagen Wolves a bit more comfortable here, and unfortunately, the other side of things, less comfortable. However, that's a great way to kick things off.
Oh, missed shot. Hero actually gets quite unfortunate there, but then unfortunate, or it's unfortunate that he missed the shot, but fortunate that he stays alive because he was tagged down very low. A lot of youths are getting reined in here. So he needs to be very careful. He's trying to play around these mollies in the smoke. The spam is so close and he will get it. On the reload, he gets through the smoke as well. Tapeware could go down. He's dropped the bomb. Zinni's spamming too. He's trying to do it all alone now. Upgrade to the AK, looking to continue spamming on that smoke. And Shane is so low. This round is now unlosable.
Indeed. Down he goes. Flawless as Rush B seem to refine themselves after immediately losing themselves. You know, very, very well done from them, though, just getting it going with the guns, I think, is the important thing, right? So, yeah, and the difficulty is, with how close the anti-eco in particular comes, it's now Copenhagen Wolves who are out of the money. They opt to go for force. They're so low on money. Yeah, I don't know, though. They certainly could have ecoed things out, actually, looking at, you know, the amounts that they've spent and whatnot. So they better have a game plan here.
Shane trying to play around that molly. He's out though. He's flying forward. He will go through the flames and take in a decent amount of damage and then gets immediately dispatched by the orb.
Yeah, you know, that's how it goes. Sometimes you got to be the first one in. Sometimes you got to be the man to absorb all the bullets. Mathios is the only one that's found a kill here for the Copenhagen Wolves. So Forspire has gone sideways. It's a pretty good opportunity for Rush B to take control of things, take the lead, and then bring it down to that sort of one-round shootout at the end of the half. Because, yeah, you see they don't have the money here. I'm not so sure, man. I'm not so sure. They couldn't really have gone down the middle. If they were going to eco the previous round, it would have to be like a hard eco. And then you are maybe lacking bits and pieces, right? Lacking bits of utility into what would have been the buy here. So I'm not fully against it, but it does just feel not even getting the bomb down. It ends up being quite a costly round.
Yeah, it has to be said. Tough for Copenhagen Wolves, and it will give Rushby just a bit of a leg up in some way. This round should be clean, and if they can just snipe away a lead right at the end as well, that'll massively help for them. Going to try to send out towards mid. We've got just Glocks across the board, no util, no armor. I feel like in this sort of situation, maybe just getting one flash would be kind of nice. Give you a pop, see if you can overwhelm somebody, get a gun, but they're trying to go in towards mid with Glock, so it's pretty unlikely regardless.
Zinni on the spot. Ooh, and he does peek out at the wrong time. They nearly get the better of him. He's quite brave here to keep going for it. Fancying himself an eco warrior, I suppose. He will go down after finding two. I know where these players are coming from. Oh, hold on a minute. There's a sneaky man round the corner. He can't quite get around it, unfortunately. Gun retrieved. Might be something to work with. Tapeware on the headshot angle, but yeah, they're just starting to surround him now. 25 seconds. Definitely wants to go down here. Damage doesn't really matter, you know, so on and so on. 6 rounds, though. It will be at least even at the half. It's all a question of whether Copenhagen Wolves keep this one together.
Yeah, well, you know, at least this one's been a little bit more competitive, back and forth. It's had a bit of a fight behind it. If we can get a 7-5 though out for Rush B, I still think they're pretty happy. I still think they're actually looking at this and saying, okay, you know, it feels a lot better. We've still got a decent leg up. The pistol rounds actually look quite clean as well, so that's always going to help. And we saw the pistol rounds start of this one as well. 4 kills in a matter of a second, if not less. So, Rush B have got good ideas up their sleeve. Copenhagen Wolves, it's still, well, it's been better. I think it's still about still convincing us what their level is at right now. AK's out across the board. Decent amount of util as well. So, good spot, sure. And mid control, which has been such a standard for Copenhagen Wolves. This time will be at least slowed down momentarily with a smoke from Executor. But he's about to face an onslaught.
Oh. Looks away. Blinded up. Peeks back in. Nearly double spray downs his crosshair in the right place. It would seem Kiro overwhelmed. Still got a player at the back end of this B-bomb site as well. Just paying things patiently. They are ready for him. He will be spotted out. Can't get the double. So it's still even. It's been very, very tit for tat here throughout this round. And there it is again. Kinky, however, is on a very, very quick flank from the apartments. Not going to be expected at all. Spots out Shane quite easily, who is none the wiser. Down he will go, and the half looks good in the end. Rush B to take things 7-5. We will find out. Is it going to be a 2-0? Are we going to require a third? But we got to take a break first.
He's gone. I won't waste another one. Oh, that darkness, it won't set me back again.
Hello, hello, welcome back in. 7-5, honestly, much better. At least we have, you know, a bit of a competition here where we are starting to see, you know, sort of the level, I guess, of what we can get from both sides, and much more about Copenhagen Wolves. But this has been good for Rush B.
Yes, we'll see if it continues here. Block will open up. Trade is there. There's quite a few members on the bomb site, but unfortunately none of them getting any kills, in fact. Chiquinho was on that mid angle. He's left very, very low, so Shane going to have to do a lot of work here. Does manage to find first. Oh, on the way in. That second is quite nice as well. They've got info. Spotted. Quick headshot. Meanwhile, from Texi, a wide swing from him is indeed brave. And it's going to leave Executor to do it all. He's had a very clean game himself. 13 and 7. Ooh. And his sense of timing, his accuracy is all that is required. A big, big pistol win for Rush B.
Needed as well. Extend the lead. Give yourself a bit of comfort. Give yourself a bit of control as well. You're pretty happy with where things are right now. So, yeah, that was very, very important for them to be taking. I think not only just taking it, but in the fashion that they did as well. Yes, it comes down to the wire, but it once again reinstills a lot of confidence. We've got good ideas. We've got good executes, good plans, and we can make them stick. And it's going to give you, of course, the economic advantage in the early part of this. So, they're pretty happy with where they're at. Just a case of, can they, of course, now start to chain a few together. This one should be easy. I mean, take where, he's heard the steps here, but still a Mach 10 on the other side.
Seen a couple Zeus kills. Shame we don't have one here, but, you know, we might see someone sneak away. Kinky waiting patiently. The boost going to come in. I think will indeed catch him off. Gets distracted and taken. It's a lot of info, I suppose, so the rest of the attack will begin onto that A-bomb site. Still somewhat weary. They will take their time with the execute. Decent damage onto executor, but not the finish that they were looking for. That really would have made a difference if the Deagle began to sing. Bomb plant's been delayed for now. Still potential, not out of the woods quite yet. Deagle for Balani here could do some real damage. Bomb's going to go down eventually, and this is where it gets harder, right? No real way to get into the bomb site. They just have to throw bodies at it, which without armor is not going to work all that well. Zinni is clean with it. They are looking for exits, looking for a save, whatever kind of logic they want to apply into this. I think given the buy in the next round, they will just commit to those exits. Really good damage. Really, really good damage. One more kill here would be very nice.
Yeah, getting 3 out of 5 on a no-buy round, basically, I think is actually, it's pretty excellent if you can get there. But at the same time, this next gun round's got to be pretty emphatic. We've got to see something quite special happen here in this one. I'm still really liking what I'm seeing from Rush B. I still think they're really putting up decent rounds on the board. Showcasing, I think, still that they are at least 1 or 2 levels above right now. Long game ahead of us. Still plenty of time still for Copenhagen Wolves to get back into. It's far from being over right now. This next gun round, we got Chiquinho in towards the AWP. If we can make something out of this, and if we can take it cleanly too to keep that CT economy in check, it's not the end of the world. Still time to get back into this.
Bit of an upgrade for Kinky there. It will come at the cost of a teammate. They are still on with the task as well. Pushing it down middle. Ooh, into the scope. It's a wonderful little shoulder peek there to just draw him out and eventually scare him back. Mattheos just about survives. He's so lucky. I mean, committing to that. I don't even think he really saw that molly come in because he was already blinded. So he just hides away in the corner and somehow gets away with it. Kind of ridiculous. Copenhagen Wolves then are able to walk away pretty cleanly with the man advantage.
Yeah, you take that. Grouping up from what feels like a B hit and kind of a bit of space to work with here on it as well. So, not the worst position in the world, but there's a pretty quick flank in behind, and this could be everything. This could absolutely kill them here. They're being slowed down too, that doesn't help.
Bellani. He's in a very good spot. He has been seen, though. Oh, and the fight goes the way of Executor, so could make a bit of a difference. We got the double flank, though. They never expect the double flank. Very, very smart moves indeed, and it's looking good. Kiro, the only one left down below. Got 3 to take. Sets his crosshair, but just cannot land the shots. And Copenhagen Wolves, maybe their last chance. Maybe their last chance to stay alive in this game. If that one had slipped, it could have been disastrous. So they will indeed take it.
I think getting a bomb down out of it definitely sort of, helps a little bit. I think it still gives you some money to work with, some position of, okay, we still get on towards the side, we can still get space. But it's good that Copenhagen Wolves gun round coming back in and they immediately put pressure right back on. That is definitely going to help the occasion and help the feelings, I think, within the side. 3-round buffer to try and recover from. It's a long road to recovery in a sense, because you have no room for error, really. You cannot afford to let things slip sort of for nothing. Oh, that's a good start, though. Especially because it's Texie of all people.
True. It's a decent name to be taken. He's not quite flying to the top of the scoreboard, but definitely helps. Reading the shots felt very, very close. Chiquinho goes down underground. He does love an unorthodox angle. I think that's, the Swedish AWPer in him, really. Kind of from the school of JW.
Yeah.
Trying to get in the weirdest place with the AWP, and it does cost him here. 1 for 1. In towards middle. And it looks like we are indeed even now.
Executor playing patient. Just expecting that there might be a little bit of a play potentially happening. We're pushing towards apartments, and he would be right. But 45 seconds. Bomb not committed. I wonder whether this is going to be a B split. Executor being the only man coming through apartments. Just whether he clears tapeware, honestly. But this is such a commonly cleared angle. It doesn't always mean it works out. He was already tagged Executor, so he's very lucky to get away with that. And now they scale up in towards the B side. Numbers advantage should be a good spot.
Yeah, Rush B, man, they just, again, seem to have that extra X-factor element that I think Copenhagen Wolves are missing. We do have a flank round here, but, given what happened in the previous round, I think they're going to be very expectant of someone coming in from behind. It did screw them pretty heavily, so I don't know, Executor's in the spot, but he's also 4 HP.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, if he was properly checked there, he was nowhere near to a headshot, so certainly could have gone down, maybe the round would have been on, but it is not the timeline that we are living in. Bellani will save this AWP, and Rush B will hit 10.
Bellani keeps hold of the AWP. That is that only silver lining that you can really, I guess, talk about in a sense, but again, still getting to the point of being, a little concerning and a little bit worrying. Not a lot of time left in this for Copenhagen Wolves. We have got to get going. Do have money to work with around that saved AWP. It looks like they're attempting with at least, it looks like a full buy, but then I say that, it's one guy full buying in Bellani for the M4, and the rest of the team is taking a half buy. So interesting economic decision where it's not like the whole team committed on the same sort of, ground in a way. But starts well, Chiquinho, nice opener.
Zinni, meanwhile, on a contact out here, needed that kill. Matthias, I think, was looking to sort of work off of his teammate there, so not a nice place to be. Sandwich with a USP, no one around to support. Yeah, it doesn't feel too good. He actually does manage to get a dink off down there, so might come back for the M4 in particular. Oh, barrel!
The panic.
Spotted. Kinky was none the wiser and just got jump scared by the barrel. There's a team kill in there. Rush B trying to do their best to help Copenhagen Wolves get into the site, but it is not good enough. And thus, 11 comes in. Rush B looking to close this out 2-0 then.
Yeah, and you would say as well in kind of a vein that it is deserved in the sense that we've seen from Rush B. They've just, obviously in towards this map, while it has been closer, they've just kept a step ahead and enough of a step ahead that, it puts them in a really, really comfortable spot. And it's unfortunate when you look at it on the flip side. It just hasn't been enough. Copenhagen Wolves one spotted there. It'll come through, but Texi doesn't want to stick around to find out. I think that is the right call. Back down towards lower. Bomb not committed either. They're just going to test the waters in towards mid. And this is something that Rush B have been doing very well. Moving around the map, seeing where the gaps are, and then using them to their advantage.
Oh, Kinky big find. Could be the death blow here. Ooh, Shane trying not to go down. An awkward spot for him to be in. There is a trade here out towards short. It's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. These 1-for-1s are not going to work. It's all down to Jaquinho. Once a very, very hot prospect. Now a journeyman of tier 2. Looks to once again save his team. He did so over on Nuke. It was only for 1 round, but he won at 1 versus 3. Not too dissimilar from this.
Okay. Jaquinho. So, spots one. Tries to take a quick flick. And I think now that he's known and now that he hasn't been able to bring it into 1 versus 1, it as much as it's awkward and whatever, I just think with the economic situations of Copenhagen Wolves, it is actually the right call. Keep hold of the AWP. And just try and have some elevated firepower in towards the next. But it is map and series point towards Rush B. 12-6. And yes, it's been closer. But in the grand scheme of things, it's now looking very one-sided. It's been a non-starter, this CT side for Mirage. And Copenhagen Wolves, unfortunately, it is killing them. Map and series, Rush B, fantastic, right, for them. Really, really great work coming through. Rebuy back in, not an issue at all. And yeah, unfortunately for Copenhagen Wolves, for them, while we know they have nice ideas up their sleeve, to get this level of consistency this late in the series feels highly unlikely.
Yes, indeed. I think you are correct. It's very, very hard. They've just... There was a moment in that first half, right? They had some control. They took a bit of a lead. Then it slipped, and I think this team really does struggle to get back into a game, Yeah, we also, again, spoke about the super early rounds, like the pistol and the follow-up against the force buy and whatnot. Very, very close. Did feel like things were going to crack. They gave us maybe 1 decisive rifle round, but again, beyond that, there's not been too many super solid rounds coming out from the Copenhagen Wolves, so it's a hard matchup. It is a hard matchup, when you're still working on being a team. I think Rush B are probably a squad that you don't really want to come up against just because of how well drilled they will be and how unpredictable they can be as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately, attack pause though right as we get down to the tail end here, but it's a very quick one. Recovered nice and easily. Look at the buy, unfortunately. 3 FAMASs come into play for Copenhagen Wolves. A little tough to try and make this one stick in your head, right? To try and find the way back into this. Let's see. Jane going to play up close. Jaquinho and Kiro. Trade kills immediately. Flash around the corner. And thankfully, Kiro can actually get out quite quickly.
Could be big. Could be big here. They're thinking about making a move on the ramp. But for now, they will just stick around. Bit of a failed jump there maybe from Texi. Will give his position away. So They're going to be prepared. The old 1-2 punch here. Who goes first? Raphios with the stronger weapon wants to be the swinger, but they have read it beautifully.
So well played.
Really well played, yeah. The AWP on the entry, they, again, with it being Mirage, know that kind of setup so well. And now just 2 remaining. Balani and Tapeware here to save the day.
Feels unlikely. Feels very unlikely indeed, but let's see. I'm not going to completely take it away from them just yet. 2 versus 4. The damage on towards the AWP Kiro as well. Might be a chance, but a quick flank, and he'll be seen off by Texi. 2-0 to Rush B. Really well played from them throughout this series. They just looked so cutthroat, so clean, and you know, it has to be said, they were just quite a level above Copenhagen Wolves throughout this series. There just wasn't enough. Nuke was